Jumping back in, I guess last thing that was this week in privacy, I think is arguably probably one of the most wildest things. Australia down south on the other side of the world has kind of been doing a lot with COVID in general, or COVID as maybe the shield for a lot of this surveillance stuff that they got going on over there. So this thing Brent's got on the screen right now is kind of the first one where they passed new legislation that was, I guess, extremely rushed within 24 hours, and there's three main aspects to it, I guess. There's like a data disruption warrant, a network activity warrant, and an account takeover warrant. And so all three of these basically give the police the ability to basically, on the data end, modify, copy, delete your data that you possess. The network activity lets them obviously get your network activity. And then account takeover, which was probably one of the wildest ones, is allows the police to take control of an online account like social media for the purposes of gathering information for an investigation. And Australian companies are obliged to comply. And man, oh man, does Australia, I think, this is just one of the stories about Australia. There was another wild one that I'll talk about after this one. But, how good is this for the people? What do you guys think?
Australia is sounding like Orwellia. that pretty much summarizes, right? That Orwellia is probably the right name till they get rid of these legislations or these rules.
All right, so I literally did a search to see what people are talking about on this. So I came to this Reddit. I think it's Reddit Australia. So it's like for the whole country. Mm-hmm. Look at first of all, this is whoever did this. I think it's Lord Crumb, I guess is what the dude's name is.
Thankfully, he had a PC username.
Yeah, look at the lens he put this on. Australian police can now hack your device, collect or delete your data, take over your social media accounts, all without a judge warrant after a bill rushed through Parliament in 24 hours. Look at how many comments it got. 1,500 comments. It's been up to 26,000 times. And look, the dude had to close the thread down. I mean, it was...
No, the moderators did.
Being discussed in 74 other communities.
Yeah. He didn't close it, Brent. The moderators closed it.
Yeah, the moderators closed it because they're getting too much stuff on this thing. Yeah. And they did all this within a 24-hour period of this bill being put up. That's unbelievable what happened in Australia.
Remember, it's moderators, government. Moderators of Australia, which probably, proves the case.
Yeah, he's probably, wait a minute. I'm a government official. I got to get rid of this. Can we delete this whole thread? Actually,
the other story that I thought was honestly a little even crazier. There was a post in the Atlantic. I don't know if I shared the link earlier or not, but basically, I'll read a paragraph here. Interstate travel within Australia is also severely restricted, and the government of South Australia, one of the country's 6 states, developed and is now testing an app as Orwellian as any in the free world to enforce its quarantine rules. People in South Australia will be forced to download an app that combines facial recognition and geolocation. The state will text them at random times, and thereby they'll have 15 minutes to take a picture of their face in the location where they're supposed to be. Should they fail, the local police department will be sent to follow up in person.
You got to be.
And then
really,
the premier Stephen Marshall says, "I think every South Australian should feel pretty proud that we're the national pilot for a home-based quarantine app. Are we proud?" So geolocation, facial recognition from the government, and then within 15 minutes, you can't take a nap, you can't doze off or do anything. You have to reply, or the cops will come knocking on your doors. I don't know. This is just, I guess, it seems like an Onion article, right? Like it doesn't even seem real, right? Like,
I don't have words. That's crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah, government forcing the app, first of all, then, your location is now tracked 100%, faces on top. It's just that's about as slippery as a slope. And usually I feel like it's almost, I guess you got to applaud the transparency at least. Otherwise there might be some shady way of kind of explaining it. But here it's just like, no, we're going to tell you it's facial recognition, it's geolocation. Normally you can think of, yeah,
you can think of what you're going to do. You don't have a choice. It's unbelievable.
I don't know. This is a weird one. Australia's got some stuff going on down there. I guess our COVID situation is pretty bad, but still, it's kind of crazy. But I mean, I would say it's a pretty big vacuum for, I would say, government opportunity currently, right? Like in a lockdown, not to get into politics much, but in general, like this is a good situation to figure it out, right? Now that you've got that database of data, you think it's just going to be deleted when COVID's over and, we're going to stop using it? I don't think so. I think they'll find their purposes for it. Just like, kids using Instagram in a couple of years, that data is still going to be valuable, just maybe in good sense today.
Is it going to be just the government that owns the data, or is it a contract firm that is doing it for the government who basically will try to maximize their profits by selling it to? So that's likely the
Data
case.
brokers.
Yeah, I didn't dig too deep into that article and read it, but in general, most of these government apps are built by some third-party consulting firm or something like that, right? And then that data or the IP is going to be pushed out and probably shared elsewhere. So not a very good situation by any means. So.